Zelda games are games I would consider being close to perfect and nearly flawless, but perfect stuff just doesn't exist. There's always something, whether it be big or small, that prevents a game from hitting the perfect status, even in Zelda. While these games are incredible, there are still places where once I've gone through them, I never want to do it again. So today we are going to take a look at all the worst parts in every Zelda game. Well, 3D Zelda game. I won't be doing the 2D Zelda games because there are a few I haven't finished all the way through, and I wouldn't know what the worst parts would be in those games. So this will be strictly the 3D games. But let's go ahead and get right into the video. We're going to be doing these in order when they came out, which would make Ocarina of Time first. This was hard because I love this game. In fact, it's my #1 favorite game of all time, so finding the worst part was pretty tough. Now, many people may be saying the water temple, but I don't think the water temple is as bad as people say it is, and I actually quite enjoy it. Yeah, taking off and putting on the iron boots over and over kinda sucked, but I don't blame the temple for that. So if not the water temple, what is the worst part? To me, that's gotta be Gerudo Fortress. Even though I love this game, I can admit it has some not so great spots, and this is one of them. Gerudo Fortress has you searching around for the 4 missing carpenters without getting caught. What makes this place so bad is, one, you can't get caught. So it's essentially a stealth mission, and I've never been a fan of stealth mission in video games. The other thing I kinda dislike about this place is the layout of the fortress itself. On the outside it looks small, but this place is set up like a labyrinth. I find myself going in circles and there's always one carpenter I can never seem to find. And what's worse is getting caught right before you go to where you need to be and you get thrown back in prison. When you find a carpenter, there'll be a Gerudo you have to fight. The fights themselves are pretty easy if you're able to avoid the attack where the Gerudo pins you to the floor and sends you back to the start. I haven't had that happen a lot, but when I do, I get a little frustrated. Out of all of Ocarina of Time though, I have to say this has got to be the worst spot. Yes, even more so than the water temple. The next game we have is Majora's Mask, and again, this is another game that at least to me doesn't have many bad spots. The spot I was going to pick at first was the bottom of the well in Icona Canyon. Here you have to have a bunch of different items to give to the Gibdos who are blocking your path. Once you get them what they want, they'll open the door for you and let you pass. To find out what they want, they'll give you a little riddle as a hint, which sometimes can be very self-explanatory and other times it can be a little vague. I wonder what that could be. Now, your first time through here, you will be miserable, trying to figure out what all the Gibdos need and then leaving the well to go look for it. But really, all you need is the blue potion before entering, which can be bought close by from a business scrub. Once you get past the first door, almost everything else you need can be found within the well itself. I didn't realize this till much later, and this part always frustrated me as a kid. Let me through! Let me through! Oh. Yeah, I probably should have thought that one through. Now going through this game, this part isn't really too bad at all, so I feel like it's not fair to put it as the worst spot. That spot now goes to climbing up to Stone Tower Temple. This part is so annoying. To get to Stone Tower Temple, you gotta step on the floor buttons to move blocks to create a path, but if you get off one of the buttons, the blocks will go back. So you have to create a clone of yourself using the Elegy of Emptiness, and you have to do it a lot. And all you people complain about the iron boots in Ocarina of Time, this is way worse. Every time I come back to this game, I always know I'm going to get to this part, and I usually stop after I beat the water temple. Because not only is getting to Stone Tower Temple boring and tedious, Stone Tower Temple itself is a place I'm not a big fan of. But it's definitely not as bad as the climb to get to it. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have mentioned that last part. I can hear the people in the comments now. Well, actually I can't. I don't really get comments. Anyways, next up we have Wind Waker, and I think we can all agree on the worst spot in this game. That being the Forsaken Fortress. I mentioned the Gerudo Fortress earlier and how I didn't like stealth missions, and this is pretty much another one. Wait a minute. Gerudo Fortress? Forsaken Fortress? I'm noticing a pattern here. What makes this place even worse is it happens right at the start of the game. You just got your sword, you board a pirate ship to go out to sea and save your sister, then immediately end up here, where Tetra kindly launches you out of a cannon into the enemy base. Yeah, that seems like the smart thing to do. Oh, and you lose your sword, which kinda sucks. The one redeeming factor of this place though is it isn't as confusing to find your way through like the Gerudo Fortress was, but you have to avoid searchlights. You can turn these searchlights off by going up to where they are and using a stick to take out a moblin. Actually, one of these searchlights is required if you want to get to the top where your sister is, because if you don't turn it off, when you get to the top, the searchlight will always spot you and send you back to your jail cell. Again, pretty similar to Gerudo Fortress. At least here it's easier to be sneaky because you can just hide under a barrel. Yeah, you couldn't do that in Ocarina of Time. Next up, we have Twilight Princess, and I was about to put the spot where you escort Zora Kid to Kakariko. This part was always tricky and a bit challenging, but it can also be a bit fun. I also thought about putting the intro to the game here too, because it can be pretty long, but I don't really mind it too much either. It definitely isn't as bad as the Forsaken Fortress. That's why I decided to put the Palace of Twilight here instead. This is actually the first dungeon I have on this list that I think is the worst part from its game, and it's the only dungeon too. A while back I did a Twilight Princess dungeon ranking video. There I talked about why I really disliked this dungeon, so I won't go into too much detail here. If you want to check on that video, click the link that should be at the top of the screen. But playing through this game, I was always really excited to see what the Twilight Realm looked like, and when I got there, I was just a bit disappointed. I mean, yeah, it looks cool, but the dungeon itself just isn't too great. It's split up into 3 paths, but you can't get to the middle path until you collect both orbs of light from the right and left side. This will power up your sword, allowing you to cut the shadow dust that's blocking your path. To get the Orb of Light, you have to make it to the end of each path and fight Phantom Zant. That part's okay, and the Phantom Zant fights are kind of fun. The part I dislike is being chased by the hand as I bring the ball of light back to the start. It isn't too challenging, it's just a bit annoying, because if the hand grabs the orb, he takes it back to where he came from, and you have to do it twice, one for each side of the Palace of Twilight. This place is just kind of boring, but I don't absolutely hate it, which goes to show just how truly great of a game Twilight Princess is. Next up, we have Skyward Sword, and before even starting this video, I knew for a fact what I was going to put here, and that's the stealth mission in Elden Volcano, near the end of the game. Surprise! Another stealth mission, who would have guessed it? We may be 7 minutes into the video, but I still don't like them. During this part, not only have you lost your sword like Wind Waker, you've also lost the rest of your items. So you have to go and find every single one scattered throughout the area, and by this point in the game, you have a lot of items. You also have to avoid bokoblins and the searchlights that are here. It's actually kind of similar to Forsaken Fortress in a way, but I actually think here it's a bit worse. It's actually a bit more confusing to get through as well. I remember getting stuck trying to figure out how to get to the next item and getting a little frustrated. It may even be more confusing to navigate than Gerudo's Fortress. And maybe it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't right at the end of the game. Once you beat the last dungeon in the game, there's still a lot of game left, and some of it's hit or miss. This part, for example, is a big miss. At this point, I was just ready to finish the game, but it felt like it kept dragging on, which kind of hurt the game as a whole for me. Which is a shame, because up to this part, I actually really enjoyed it. Nintendo, if you're listening, please, no more stealth missions for the next Zelda game. Thanks. Next, we have Breath of the Wild, and I gotta admit, this and Tears of the Kingdom both are my least favorite Zelda games out of the 3D games. With that being said, I don't hate them. Now, it has been a while since I played Breath of the Wild. I completed it after it came out and haven't touched it since. My first thought was to put one of the Divine Beasts on here, but I dislike them all equally. But there was one place I remember disliking a bit more, which is the Yiga Hideout. Wait a minute. Another stealth mission? Tears of the Kingdom does not include a stealth mission, I swear. But yes, the Yiga Hideout. You have to avoid getting caught by the big Yiga dudes because if they see you, it's a one-shot. For some reason, this place kind of reminds me of Pirate's Fortress from Majora's Mask, which is weird because it's in a desert and not by the ocean. I actually like the Pirate's Fortress because at least you had the mask that made people unable to see you. Here, you don't have that, so you actually have to be stealthy. There isn't much more I can really say about this that hasn't already been said before because it's just another stealth mission that I just don't really like. The banana room is kind of cool though. The final game we have today is Tears of the Kingdom, and my least favorite part is the stealth mission where... Nah, I'm just kidding. It's the Great Sky Island. After the short and incredible intro to this game, you get put here. This place takes place on a huge floating sky island. The problem with this place is not only is it enormous and takes forever to get through, in a way it feels like a super big tutorial. You have to go to each of the 4 shrines to get your new abilities that you will be using through 99% of the game. In a way, it kind of feels like the Great Plateau, but I found the Great Plateau to be way more enjoyable. 1, because it's only a fraction of the size of this place. 2, because it's way easier to navigate. And 3, because Breath of the Wild was so new and I was willing to play whatever it had to offer. When I started playing this place, I couldn't help but feel like I was playing Breath of the Wild all over again, which, to be fair, a lot of the game feels like that. But I wanted to hurry up, get my new tools, and go explore all the new things Hyrule had to offer. But this place just kept going, and I even managed to get lost in the snowy area and freeze to death. The Great Sky Islands is the reason I struggle to start a new game in Tears of the Kingdom. To me, it may be even worse than the Forsaken Fortress, and honestly, worse than all the other worst spots on this list. It might be my definitive worst part in a 3D Zelda game. Oh wait, I almost forgot about the stealth mission in Skyward Sword. But there you have it. If you enjoyed this video and made it to the end, consider subscribing and checking out some more videos. Let me know what some of your least favorite spots in 3D Zelda games are down below. But until next time, thanks for watching.